Hi ladies and gentlemen, Matt Dane here, president of Health Fitness, and first off, I'd like to thank you for joining us. Now, today we are going to cover a topic that I feel is hot on virtually everybody's minds this time of year, and that is the concept of New Year's resolutions. All right, specifically, this is going to be the first in a three-part video series or program on how to really turn these resolutions, or really any goals, into results. All right, so it is though, every year, this time of year, people spend time really coming up with what they hope to accomplish, these grand visions of what their life can be 12 months from now. All right, and these visions and these goals, these resolutions, unfortunately, oftentimes, a year later, are the same things that are popping up on their list, okay? And unfortunately, they haven't achieved them over the last 12 months, but now they've decided, well, this year is going to be different, okay? Well, as they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and again and expecting different results. Okay, so it's my intention to begin today to give you the tools necessary to make these resolutions a reality once and for all, okay, results. All right, so without further ado, let's dig into the first step on how to really make these resolutions a reality. All right, so the first step is making sure that we are in the right frame of mind before we even get started in setting goals. All right, so, and there's three key components to this. First is that we all, over the course of a lifetime, start to acquire these things called limiting beliefs. All right, so what is a limiting belief, you might ask? Well, it is any belief that holds you back, but some examples are, for example, I'm too young, or I'm too old, or I'm too skinny, or I'm too heavy, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough resources, or any number of things that you can come up with. And the problem is that these are almost entirely self-imposed. All right, so for example, a lot of times when people want to lose weight and get in shape, they limit their hopes and their dreams because they feel their genetics are just basically screwing them. This is it. This is all I can hope for. So, these are limiting beliefs that are really sabotaging us. So the first step is we need to eliminate these limiting beliefs. And I'm not going to get into how to eliminate them and eradicate them forever right now, maybe in a future episode. But for now, for our purposes, for goal setting, we need to ignore them, okay? And I think the best question to ask yourself and to prompt yourself to eliminate these for a time being is just simply this. What would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? So that was the first step, suspending limiting beliefs. All right, the next step, we need to be in an empowered and an energized state. Okay, well, what's that mean? All right, so here's the thing. Let's start with the opposite of an empowered, energized state. We should not be setting goals when we feel tired or lazy or timid or weak or fearful, okay? These are emotions that are going to really empower those limiting beliefs we just talked about, okay? So what we need to be in is we need to be in a position, in a state where we feel, not only do we feel great, but we feel powerful. We feel that we have control over our lives and our destiny, right? So there's a couple things that, there's a number of different ways that we can improve that state, but there's two simple ones that we're going to work with for now. Okay, the first, we need to move, all right? As a human being, to feel at your peak, it is almost always beneficial to move, whether it's cardiovascular work or some resistance training, releases endorphins, it's going to make us feel more empowered, it's going to make us feel better. Quick way to improve our state, exercise, okay? Second thing, while we're exercising, shortly after having exercised, take a second and think about a part of your life, a time in your life where you really felt successful or powerful. Okay, think about that. What was that experience like? Where were you? Do you remember what you were wearing? Who else was there? What did you just accomplish? What has been said? Okay, what are the feelings? What does it feel like? Okay, feel it. Anchor into it. All right. Now, when you're at a peak state where you feel energized and you feel enthusiastic, you feel powerful. Now we are one step closer to being ready to set goals. Okay, so that's the second step. All right, the third step, which is every bit as important as the first two, is we need to have long-term thinking. Now, long-term thinking always reminds me of the concept of begin with the end in mind, which is Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I think that it's so relevant because you can be a hyperachiever. You can believe there's no limits, and you can go out and you can just keep accomplishing year after year after year. But we don't want to wake up someday in the future on our deathbed, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, and realize that we've been climbing the wrong ladder the entire time. We've been achieving things that aren't important to us. Okay, they might seem important now because it's a box you can check or something you can cross off your to-do list. But we want to make sure we have a very finite period of time on this earth. And we need to make sure that each of those items that we spend time on, that we cross off our list, each of those boxes that we feel the drive and the need to check, that it is leading us towards the life that we want and the legacy that we want. Okay, so when I talk about long-term thinking, I think it's very important to really put ourselves in the future and make sure that we have an idea of what we want our lives to and our legacy to be. All right, so that when we do start achieving all of these goals and we really exercise our power and we make things happen, we have the ability to the amazing ability to not just discover ourselves, but to create ourselves, right? And the important takeaway is that we need to make sure that creation is thought out and it's really what we want, and it's not driven by other factors. Okay, and I'm going to wrap this episode up with a quote which has been attributed to the Navy SEALs. I'm not entirely sure that that's accurate or not, but I love the quote. Today, I will do what others won't, so that tomorrow I can do what others can't.